The following program may contain content inappropriate for some listeners. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Dutchess Student Media Group, DCC staff, or administration. Enjoy.
It is what it is, radio.
Dre is about to speak. Dre is about to speak.
I want to choke people.
Dre is about to speak. That was good. That was good.
Musical mastermind. Allow me to interrupt just for a moment. It's been out since you've been gone, and that's too long. So come back on. Never again will I fly scared. Let me tell you something. I wish I take all your planes to the sky and parachute out and let them all crash, so that I have no reason to ever put people back in the air.
It is what it is, radio. Let's go.
Let's call this take 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to It Is What It Is Radio After Hours. That's the name of the podcast. It is, what day is it? January 26th? Is it 26th?
Yeah. Today is actually
January
the 26th. Yes.
2017.
Excuse me.
And I am your favorite bad influence, Uncle Dre.
It's your boy R&B D, aka DJ Extraordinaire, aka Producer Extraordinaire, aka I'm lying about most of that. I'm just R&B D.
AKA he just got this right for the fourth time.
Yo, it's not my fault, B. I'm not.
It's all right. It's okay. You know, I can't knock you for that because, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed the lack of voice, there's usually a technical expert here by the name of VI.
Yeah, our sound engineer, our DJ, our producer, and our music director.
Our IT guy, basically the smart dude in the room.
Yeah, the dude who adds the soul to what is our program.
Yeah, he had to take the day off.
Handle some personal business.
You know, it's personal, so it ain't y'all business. But we here. It's our first show of the spring semester.
Woo! If I knew how to work this stuff, I would have the applause, like sound effects. Yeah, I don't.
Just clap it up.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
Hercules.
So, with that being said, welcome back, and it's good to be back.
It is great to be back. It's always a great feeling coming back. It's like, it always feels like it's been too long. But
man, when we do it the next week, it feels like it's been too long.
It does, because it's something we enjoy doing. We love doing.
So all you programming managers and direct, program directors out there listening, pay us.
Word.
That is the worst way to find a job. Yo, pay me to do this, but you'll have happy employees.
Listen,
because we love doing what we do.
I'm with however we get to get on. You know what I'm saying?
And since December we've done a show?
I think, was it December 8th or December 15th?
Something like that. So basically about a month. A month and some change since we've been on the air, and
a lot has gone on in that time.
A lot has gone down, a lot has gone on socially, personally, and all other aspects of, life. So instead of a weekly rundown, we're just going to get a quick synopsis from the two of us as to what's been going on in our lives. So, Diesel.
Yo.
What's been going on, son?
I recently... Nah, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna play around like that. I was gonna say something very anti-religious, and God forbid, I don't want...
Let's not do that.
Nah, I don't want to, because you know what I do? I respect other people's views and how they, worship God or whatever higher power you call them, whether it be Allah, or whatever you call something higher than yourself.
Whatever it is you believe in.
Yes, whatever. I respect all people's right to believe in whatever they believe in. So I don't want to offend nobody in their beliefs. So what's been going on with me? Vacation was, or I should say, the break was kind of good. I slept a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I've been known to sleep
That's what you do.
sleep a bit here and there. Nah, but
He's a professional slumber.
yo, I think this is the first New Year's. Like, I didn't do nothing for New Year's. Like, literally New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, technically, I was probably in bed at 1 something.
Yeah, that comes with just getting more mature. You realize.
Nah, I can't even say it's more mature because, see, if I had it my way, I would, 2 occasions, I would bring in another country. New Year's and my birthday, I would like celebrate in another country. Like, I want to be physically in another country when those times happen. It was my lack of planning that didn't allow it to happen this year. But next year, be sure, be clear, as Funk Flex says, be clear. I'm bringing in the New Year in another country.
I feel you.
It might be just Canada,
I was
but
about to say, even if it's Canada.
yeah, even if it's Canada, I'm not gonna be in the States for New Year's Eve,
Yeah,
2017.
That's if you're still allowed to travel outside the United States.
Yeah, with the state of affairs, we all know we got President Trump in the house now. We gonna get on him later.
Yeah, luckily we're not in major markets where he'll be calling in to censor us and shut us down immediately. So we'll be able to,
Yeah, voice our
speak our
opinions.
minds for
now.
the time being.
For now,
You know.
one of the highlights of my vacation was I got to meet Uncle Dre's significant other.
Hey, baby.
The woman who has made him the sucker for love that he is
I'll
and
be there.
continues to be. No, you are that. You are a sucker for love and
Can you blame me?
No, I don't blame you.
Can't
Congratulations. Listen, like I said in our group chat one day, like, yo, you was angry. Like we was personally attacking you. And it was right after you got back from seeing her or what have you. And you was like, you was like a cornered dog.
I'm saying,
Snapping at everything.
I ain't gonna lie. I was on this high. I was
Yeah.
on this super high, and anything remotely, and I won't say it was negative, but anything that wasn't maintaining that high, anything
Yo,
that when it gets
son.
that high, I was a little.
you was
I
in
was
your
a little
feelings,
tight.
dude.
I was a little light skinned that day.
Yeah, you was light skinned. You was being real light skinned.
I was
on your Drake.
I was on my
ish.
Drake. You know what
You
I'm
was on your
saying?
Drake shit.
So-
I was like, yo, what is wrong with him? Yo,
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Call it what you want. Sucker for love, changed man.
Yes.
As I posted on Facebook, once upon a time, it's hard to be cold when she warms you so much.
shut the fuck up.
Whatever. You starving for love.
I'm
I'll
not-
be a sucker for love. You starving for love, son.
I ain't starving for
You'll
love.
get it. You'll get it.
I just said-
it'll be.
It just ain't my time.
I promise you, when it happens, your asshole will be ripped to do what?
No,
You
cause
got
see, all right,
me.
listen.
Rick.
No, y'all
Our
gonna
significant others coming at
y'all
you.
gonna fuck with me. Y'all
Oh.
gonna fuck with me. But
Hard.
yeah, I ain't
But
worried
it's the
about
hazing
that.
process.
It's
the
not
process.
even hazing. The only reason y'all gonna fuck with me like that is because I've been fucking with y'all all this time I've been single. That's the only reason. Otherwise,
Oh yeah.
y'all niggas wouldn't be thinking about me like that. But y'all suckers for love, Rick, Mina, Dre's girl, Dre. You know what I'm saying?
She got to meet Rick too.
Oh yeah, how was that?
That was cool. I mean, he rode with us on the trip back down to the airport. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it wasn't
Send her
just a meet and greet. It was more like it was a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So she finally got to meet somebody who was on the same page, on the same team.
Yeah,
rather.
on Team Sucker for Love.
So it was like-minded individuals.
Yeah, now y'all can
Okay.
go on double dates and
That's
do
you
couples
know that's
vacations
exactly, that's
and all
exactly
types of
where
ish.
Rick with it.
Yeah, I know,
He's
I
like,
know.
Finally, I got somebody to do this.
Yeah,
with.
he has been starving for that.
Yeah,
Rick has been starving to go on, a couples trip with his people.
Yeah.
Because he's done the couple thing with his girls, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's different when it's your people.
When it's your boy, yeah, it's
Yeah.
different. It's different.
So Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Dre's significant other. She's super cool. Meets my seal of approval. And you still a sucker for love, and I'm still fuck with you about it.
I'll be that.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, that's cool.
Yes.
Other
than that, and that brings us to now. Oh, one thing that I'll get into, I did attend the Women's March on Washington. Well, the symbolic Women's March, because I didn't go to Washington.
Yeah.
There were buses that were
Local.
leaving. Yeah, I marched across the walkway over the Hudson with 5,000 women. Not at the same time, like, you know, they tallied how many people came throughout the day, and it was 5,000 at last count that I remember.
So more people than showed up at Trump's inauguration.
Yeah,
I'll get into that later.
I mean, yeah, we gonna get into that, but you know, it was an eye-opening experience. It was not what I expected. It was dope. It's dope to see people come together and rally to a cause and do it in a peaceful manner. Although sometimes, you know, peace is not what's called for. In this particular situation, you know, it was peaceful, and you just got to see the power of people organizing. Well, I got to see the power of people organizing because it's not something I've ever been a part of. So happy I went, glad I did it, and I'm sure there will be more things in the future on the civil rights of Americans that I'll be involved in. So that's my break in a nutshell.
All right. Well, for me, of course, you know, the highlight being I got to spend some time with my baby, and you know, it was just super dope. It was just nice being in that kind of mindset.
Yeah, it's crazy because when she came, like, we didn't know, you know, that your bed had covers.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying? We didn't know what.
Shout out to VI.
Yo, shout out to VI.
That was the funniest shit I've heard.
Yeah, because we was thinking
in
the
a
same
long
thing. I'm like,
time.
yo, so that's the head of the bed? Oh, okay. 'Cause
So, just to give the listeners
Context.
The context of the statement. You know, Vi and D came by the crib to, you know, kick it, and we was, you know, chilling. And of course, my woman being there, I'm gonna make sure everything is presentable. I'm not gonna live as, you know, as bachelor as I do when she's not.
Right.
So, you know, the bed was made. It just happened to be that day she made it. So D made the observation, was like, yo, Vi, have you ever seen his bed made? And Vi was like, I didn't even know which way you slept on the bed. Because truth be told, the covers would be askew. There'd be pillows all over the place.
Word. It'd be random chaos.
If you tried to ascertain which direction I laid my head, you'd be hard pressed.
Very hard pressed.
So-
You be hard pressed to tell what's the foot of the bed, what's the head of the bed, what the sides are. There was no defined boundaries on this man's bed.
Yo, I cried because that was literally the funniest shit I had heard in a long time. And yeah, so he had a good point.
Yeah, someone actually treated me like a guest in Dre's home, and it was not Dre. Shame on
And
you.
it won't be. I've known you how long? You know what? I see it like this. If you can go in my refrigerator, and that's usually if I've invited you into my home or my residence more than once. After the first visit, you're getting your own drinks. You know, at the first time you.
Well, I didn't get that kind of hospitality the first visit, so I'm offended.
I've known you since middle school.
So
when
what?
When you came to my mom's house, where, you know, I still lived there, it was my house. So after the first time you came in, yeah, I'll get you a glass of water. I'll get you something to drink out the refrigerator. If I invite you for a second visit, that means you're good. And the first time you're a guest. The second time, guess what?
Well, I did not get the guest treatment the first time I was at your apartment.
No, because you wasn't a guest.
I am a guest. It
No,
was
you're
my
not.
first time at your apartment.
No, you're not.
That's bullshit.
No, you're not.
You know the rules. Stop trying to bend the rules.
I ain't been to the rules. It's just after all these years, you're not a guest. If you move into your apartment, I'm not gonna ask to go in your refrigerator. I'm just going
All right.
because it'd be stupid.
All right.
Because you're gonna look at me like, why am I asking?
Fair enough.
So there's that. But yeah, highlight of it was definitely seeing my baby girl and, you know, just doing nothing with her. It's special to find somebody that you enjoy doing nothing with, and I enjoyed doing absolutely nothing with her. Also, a shout out to Dr. Weldon McWilliams. went to.
How could I forget that?
Because you're a suck. Because you suck.
How could I forget
you
that,
too busy
yo?
calling me a sucker for love to remember.
Yeah,
when we
you're
went to
right.
see Weldon.
Shame on me, yo.
The crew of It Is What It Is Radio went down to Rockland County. What was that? New City?
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley.
Spring
We went
Valley.
to Spring Valley to see Dr. Weldon McWilliams give a talk on the basically civil rights in a Trump era. And, you know, he touched on a lot of things, namely the people that Trump is putting into key positions in his cabinet, as well as what is termed, you know, Obama complacency, because, and he's right on this, a lot of people just got complacent that, okay, we during the 8 years that Obama was in, we have a black president, we don't have to put in any effort anymore. And that's not true. You know, even though we had a black president, I always say to people who would get upset, it's like, what has Obama done for black people? Obama did not run for the presidency of black America.
No, he didn't. But you gotta be fair.
Of America. And, you know, think about this. First of all, he had, you know, from the door, from his first election, you know, his first term, he had opposition. So it's the same phenomena and pressure that on a micro scale a black cop goes through. You know, because a cop is basically an executive of the law, and president is the executive branch. And when you're a black cop, you have to walk the fine line of carrying out the law or seeming, you know, biased towards your own people. So it really does put you in a conundrum.
I understand that. However,
and Obama, as president of the United States, had to be the president of all the people. Now,
Yes.
even with 2 terms, those 8 years, he had to be the president of all the people.
Right.
Now, here's where I start to I start to go, okay, what are you going to do for us now? Is because he was president. He has a platform from now and forever because of his title. You know, you're always going to be president such and such, even after your term.
right.
Now you have a platform, you have a national name, you have the ear of people on a global scale, but you're not beholden to all Americans. Not to say you should ignore the rest of America, but now you can actually focus your energies more on a specific demographic. So I'm curious as to see what he does post presidential term, like now that he's more or less a private citizen, where he's going to focus his I mean, I'll give him a pass if he wants to take a year or so off, but he's still relatively young,
Right.
and he's still, like I said, he's always going to have a voice. Whatever he says, people are going to listen. If Jimmy Carter says something, people are going to listen. It's because he's had that position. So I'm just interested to see, you know, that.
Nah,
but
my thing with Obama is this: I didn't expect him to change black people's fates or poor people's, you know, conditions. What I did expect from him was him to shine a light on the inequalities that we face in the black community, and he didn't. And in listening to some of his speeches, every time the audience was a black crowd, he put the onus on black people taking more responsibility. But when he spoke to a majority white crowd, this is something that Dr. McWilliams spoke on at the thing. When he spoke to a predominantly white crowd, it was always some rah-rah.
He did make the point, and it was valid, that
we should take more responsibility.
He spoke more harshly.
Yes.
Towards, you know, at a black crowd, and he spoke very nurturingly and less harshly. But let's be honest, that's kind of what we need.
No, what we need is for someone to say, yo, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. I see it. I understand it. I get it. We need someone to acknowledge the struggles we face, and then say, all right, but you gotta pick yourself up and get up out of there. We don't get that from politicians. We get the harsh criticisms.
This is true.
We get shitted on, for lack of a better term. We don't get the, I know it's hard, but you gotta get up and keep moving and keep going. That's all we need. And no one seems willing, no politician on a major platform seems to be willing to acknowledge that black people face more issues than anyone else in this country.
Well, what politician? I'll be honest. The only one who did seem to get it and was willing to speak candidly about it was
Bernie Sanders. Yes, yeah, he does get it, and he did speak candidly about it.
And
now
I'll even say this: Bernie and Elizabeth Warren.
Okay.
Elizabeth Warren is very much aware of just the plight of the average American, and she's not unaware of the difficulties that, quote unquote, minorities go through. So,
and I don't want to make it seem like black people are the only ones who suffer struggles, because we're not. There are many demographics that suffer in America, and they shouldn't. Veterans suffer. There's starving children. There are homeless people. Women is one of the groups that suffer and are not receiving equal justice under the law and liberty and all that. So there's a bunch of inequalities going around, but in each one of these subgroups, I guess you could say, to me it seems like people will acknowledge and have compassion for everybody except the black people. It's like when our issues,
and I will admit, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I could be wrong.
No.
But this is part of the reason why I'm
Why
involved.
we see it is because we live it.
Right.
Now, if a woman stood here and argued that women are the most oppressed, I can't very well say she's wrong, because I'm not a woman. I don't live a woman's life. I don't live with the same threats and worries and fears that a woman does.
Right.
I have to take into account that when we walk out of here to the parking lot, neither one of us are worried about somebody jumping out of a bush and raping us.
Not at all.
But a woman would be.
True.
Regardless of her race.
And you know what? I get it. I dig it. I acknowledge the
flip side, and not to cut you off, but and here's the kind of to put things in perspective. However, if a woman gets pulled over, by the police, she's probably less worried about getting a ticket than or things going left field than either of us.
And this was one that, now to touch on that, this is one of the arguments that I had with Becky one time. It's like, she was saying how, when she gets pulled over or when she's dealt with cops, they're assholes to her too. And I'm like, the difference, like, we go back and forth. And I'm like, the solid difference is you're not worried about that cop pulling out his gun and shooting you. Me sitting there in that car, I have to make that cop feel comfortable and let him know I'm not a threat to his life in order to go home safely.
Right. Because the cop may be an asshole to her, but she has the privilege of being an asshole back.
Yes.
We don't.
It's not that we don't. I'm not going to take that chance. You know what I'm saying? Because the law is not on my side in that situation at all.
Exactly.
No, I'm not going to run that risk. And another thing, like with the police brutality and all that, I understand that being a cop is one of the most difficult jobs in America, period, because you don't. I've been fortunate that I've had great encounters with police officers, because I am the guy that when you pull me over, I'm going to ask you questions, not in a aggressive or menacing way, but like a cop pulled me over, and he asked me if I had weapons in the car. I said no, and then he gave me a ticket for, I think, my tint or something like that. And he said, "Do you have any questions for me before I go?" I said, "Yeah." "Why did you ask me if I have weapons in the car?" And he said, I don't know you, so I need to know who I'm dealing with. He's like, it makes me more comfortable if you tell me yes or no, it's gonna create a dialogue. He said, if you sit there and you have a dialogue with me, that's gonna, ease my attention, because I don't know who's in the car when I come up to the car. And it made sense to me, because they do have a difficult job. There are maniacs out there who just don't like cops and will pull out a gun or something and shoot the cop for no reason other than him being a cop. So they have to do things to protect themselves from harm, from danger. I get that. I understand that.
Right.
All I ask is, yo, deal with me as a human being, respectfully, and I'm gonna deal with you the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just some common basic respect.
And that, and that is usually the catalyst for tension between law enforcement and civilians, because I can understand it too. If you, I say to people like, well, how do we fix the problem of, black people versus the police? And I'm like, if you just approach the situation, regardless of what it is, at first with common respect, then the criminals are gonna be criminalistic. They're gonna, but when you approach me as if I'm already a threat, then you're escalating the situation. You approach me as if I'm a threat, and I'm gonna be mad that you're treating me like a criminal when I'm not a criminal.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Anybody would be upset about being treated as something that they're not, or accused before you even know me. Now, I understand, and I never try to downplay the fact that cops have an unpredictable, dangerous job. No matter what race you are, no matter what neighborhood you patrol, your job is unpredictable, it's dangerous, and you're not getting paid nearly enough.
Correct.
For said danger. And
True.
I think, truthfully, given all the stuff that's going on in history, not just recent history, in history with the police and the black community, I still believe that cops deserve better pay.
Oh, without question, cops deserve better pay for the job that they do.
And
the problem I have with police is that the bad apples, all right, they say there's only a few bad apples in the bunch. The problem is you good apples won't sit.
They won't.
You good apples. Well, you motherfuckers need to throw the bad apples out. You need the police. Like, yo, if you
who
good
watches the watchman?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you good apples, you know what I'm saying, stood up and said, yo, that's wrong when police do things that are wrong. Cool. All right, then there's a level playing field. But that doesn't happen. They make excuses after excuses for them, and that creates more and more tension.
And I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I can understand. I'm not condoning their silence, but to a degree, I'm not gonna say I'll just have to say I get it, because first of all, not every bad apple just comes right out and say, I'm a shitty cop, I'm a racist.
Nah, not at all.
Or I like to bully people or anything like that. They're not gonna say that. Or I'm gonna abuse my power. They're not gonna say that. And you never know.
But when there's track records of it,
well, that's true. If there's plenty of incidents, then you need to go duh. But if you never know, it's the whole Serpico thing. If you don't know who Serpico is, Serpico was a cop who basically called out a lot of cops in New York City on their bad behaviors and their corruption. Now, what that did was that made all the other cops look at him sideways. And as we established, they have a dangerous job. And what you need to know is that the person you're on patrol with, that your brothers and sisters in blue have your back. And if they don't have your back, you could be in a gunfight, you could be in a dangerous position, and they just let you walk into it, and they don't protect you. Or even worse, they kill you themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's pretty damn
because
bad.
Because, like I said, corrupt people don't just walk around saying, I'm corrupt. Now, if you got, 10 corrupt cops, and you tell them those 10 corrupt cops, the 11th one is not going to back you up. But he's not going to say, I don't back you up. He's just going to let you go into a dangerous situation. It's like, do I stand up for, what do I stand up for good, or do I put myself in harm's way? It's a very sharp double-edged sword. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning the action of silence, but everybody's about self-preservation, and self-preservation is what's keeping them silent.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
self-preservation is what
They don't want to be the outcast.
right, because literally you're putting your life in danger by being said outcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, self-preservation is what keeps most politicians who see the problem from saying something about it, and that's any problem. You know, because that puts you in the crosshairs of your rivals, and when you're outnumbered by the dark forces of whatever it is you're doing,
The dark side.
yeah, when you're outnumbered by the Sith, you don't run around saying I'm a Jedi. You just kind of shut up and hope that they don't notice you. And but it snowballs. It really does. So as Dr. McWilliams, stated in his talk, in order to have
And before you get to that, shout out to Big Veg for recording the event.
shout out to Veg for just being Veg. Veg is dope.
Veg is dope.
Veg is dope.
Veg
I gotta
is definitely
shout out Veg. And congratulations on your trip to Paris. He's going out to Paris pretty soon and doing some networking.
That's dope. Yo, what's the name? D. Johns and Cans is out there right now. 2 local rappers.
Oh,
I know
okay.
you know. If I told you their real names, you'd know them. We went to high school with the brothers.
Okay.
But they out there in Paris right now.
I think I know who Cans is.
Yeah. I ain't gonna shout their governments all.
Yeah,
on
nah,
them,
I ain't
but-
gonna do all that.
Yeah. So they out there. Shout out to them making international moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Paris must be a hotbed for hip hop.
And shout out to Tito. Tito went out to some country in he went to Africa recently.
Word?
Yeah.
He said he was trying to get to Africa.
Yeah.
When he was here the last time, he said he was trying to get to Africa.
He made it out there. I seen it on. I've seen it on Facebook. I
Awesome.
saw it.
I seen it.
Don't say that. I get in trouble for that. But yeah, like I was saying, as Dr. McWilliams was talking about in his lecture,
Will we be trumped?
no, talking about the differences between
You know what I'm saying? That was the name of the lecture.
yeah, the lecture will be Trump. In order to have complete change from the root up, to be truly revolutionary, people are going to have to make some sacrifices. And unfortunately, when you say revolutionary, everybody thinks grab your guns. Doesn't have to be that, but it may come to that. And when people think sacrifices, they think, oh, somebody's got to die. Doesn't have to be that, but it could be that. What it really means in its core to change something from the root up is, and make those sacrifices, we're going to have to give up some things. We're going to have to give up some creature comforts. We're going to have to give up some, things that we're used to making our lives easier. And,
True.
people aren't ready for that. Aren't willing to do that. People say they're ready for a change, but change is just that. It's change.
Yeah, what are you willing to do for the change?
Right.
That's the question that we
So-
all have to ask ourselves. That's what I asked myself that recently a lot. Like, what am I willing to do to see changes in my life? It's an ongoing question, and it should be an ongoing thing. As humans, I believe we're meant to grow, and we have to go through things in order to grow.
Right. And not to downplay, the importance or, the significance of not just the Trump protest march, but the women's rights march that you were speaking of.
Yeah.
But I will say this: marching is great. Marching is good because it brings attention to the issue. But what now?
What next? Well, that's why I'm glad that I'm a part of the women's, or I'm glad I went to the march. I'm a part of a group on Facebook that is like the Hudson Valley chapter of the Women's March or something like that.
Because it's one thing to organize a march,
They are focused on
but what are you going to
what's
do
next.
as an organization?
That's the thing that they're working on now. What's next? They're meeting tonight. That's why Yoda couldn't come.
Okay.
They're having a meeting tonight, and they want to talk about, hey, all right, what's next? And then they're posting this, and this is another thing I like. they're posting these like town hall meeting type things to learn about literally government, local politics, and what's going on in the local governments. Like I can't remember when, but there's one that is literally detailing all the different positions in government and what they do, in local government, I should say, and what they do, which is dope. And those things are necessary, because for me, marching is cool, but you got to have a plan after that. If there's no plan after that, if you're just marching just to say you marched, then you might as well not have marched.
Right. And I think now I've never been I went to the Million Man March. But I will say this: I think the reason why people get so satisfied with "we marched" was because historically you learn about the March on Washington. First of all, there has not been a march of that magnitude. They didn't just march from like DC airport to the Capitol building. They marched from states away.
Yeah, no, that was the crazy thing.
Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, they marched from states away. And after the march, the goal, they organized to affect policy that was legislature enacted. Whether or not it was followed through or, fully in place, or, they found loopholes around it, there was still a plan. There was an end game, and it wasn't the end. They didn't want it to be the end. They wanted it to be the start. But they had something like, we want to see this effectively happen. Right. And that's how you end up with the Civil Rights Act, Voter Rights Act, and all that kind of stuff. However, people march with no agenda. That's why Occupy Wall Street failed. First of all, they didn't even have, you couldn't get 3 people at the Occupy Wall Street protest to agree on what it is exactly they're protesting.
Yeah, what do you want?
Right. So it's like a child, throwing a tantrum. You go, what do you want? And they go, I don't know. I just want to make a bunch of noise. That's how the powers that be and the people you're trying to, the ears, and attention you're trying to get, that's how they look at it. Like, okay, what do you want? Tell me what you want. And if you don't have an answer, I'm going to ignore you. Unfortunately, when there's the marches against police brutality, there is something people want. They want accountability. They want police who commit these acts to be accountable. However, it doesn't happen.
Because the law is structured in a way to the favor of the police, so that as long as it's in the line of duty, it's okay, pretty much.
That's the statement. It's like, well, he operated within the parameters of, within our protocol. Well, if your protocol is to shoot
a man running away from you in the back.
Yeah, if your protocol is to shoot and not ask questions, then he did operate in within your protocol. Doesn't make your protocol correct.
Nah.
It's kind of like a meme I saw on Facebook recently, which is people always think that legal means right. Well, once upon a time, slavery was legal.
Yes, absolutely.
Once upon a time, beating you ever heard the rule of thumb? You know how to say the rule of thumb? Mm-hmm. You know the basis of that saying?
No.
Once upon a time, and I don't know if it was in America, maybe it was in Europe or something, but somewhere where that saying originated, it was legal to beat your wife with a stick as long as it was no wider than your thumb.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got a pretty big thumb.
Yeah, I was about to say that'd be bad for her if for you.
That's a broom handle.
Yeah,
man. But that's where
poor girl.
That's the way trust me, I'd die. I'd be murdered. I know this. Kind of what turns me on is she ain't scared of me. But yeah, that's where, so just because something's legal doesn't make it right. Just because it's within your protocol to act in such a way doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, and they never take laws off the books. They just make amendments to laws.
All right, and it's but that's the big question. Who polices the police? Now, as citizens,
Have you yet read the book, The New Jim Crow?
I have not. I've got a couple of books I'm reading at the moment.
You spend a lot of time. Do you spend a lot of time in your car? Yeah, because you work like a half hour away, don't you?
I do, but I don't spend enough time in the car.
No, but you drive to work 30 minutes, right?
20.
All right, 20. Good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy you a copy of this book on CD.
Okay.
So that you can listen to it in the car, because that's how I listen to it. I don't want Ricardo to listen to it because he's already riled up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get him more riled up. But like literally, it's living our everyday lives coming from where we come from, in the cities of New York and Poughkeepsie, much the same. You know the deck is stacked against you, and you just living it. You can see it. You can see it if you're intelligent enough to observe it. You can see how the deck is stacked against you. But this book kind of gives you facts and figures of how and why the deck is stacked against you. And for anyone who questions whether or not we live in a racist country and whether or not the system at large is out to get black people and it's not just something they're crying about like little spoiled kids, read this book. And the statistical evidence is there to prove and to show what America, the system, is trying to do to black people.
Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't.
Nah, not at all.
Unless the people putting together their numbers are liars.
Well, these numbers are pretty hardcore.
No, but here's the thing. I say that to say I have this debate quite frequently with various people of, when they talk about crime statistics and what there's a higher crime rate in the inner city than there is in the suburbs, and so they instinctively they just believe that there's more crime in the inner city than there is in the suburb. And I have to remind them those statistics are based on reported crimes and crimes that go convicted or whatever, like actually go into the system,
right? Not
based on crimes that actually happen or crimes that the police actually follow through with.
Right.
They follow through with more arrests in the cities. There's
a reason for that, and it's in the book.
Right. It's not that there are more drug users in the inner city. First of all, you have way more people in the inner city. The inner city is more populous, so definitely you're going to have more drug use if you want to be logical. But it's not that there's more drug use per capita. There's just as many people using drugs in the suburbs as in the inner city. People in the suburbs get better drugs. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But, if the
I don't want to spoil the book for you.
If the police are called to a suburban house, or they come, for a domestic dispute, and then they're called to urban house for a domestic dispute, how they handle it is completely different. At that suburban house, it may be, okay, well, we came, y'all sit down and calm down, you go somewhere, but they don't put in the paperwork.
Right.
So that's as if it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the urban house every time. The paperwork goes through, somebody gets arrested, a report gets filed, something has to happen. So if you have 10 happen in the suburbs and 10 happen in the urban area, but 9 of those, suburban incidents, you just let somebody go and you don't pursue the issue further, and 9 of those urban disputes,
right,
you prosecute, you put them in the system. When you start to process the numbers, it's imbalanced.
Very.
So that's part of the systemic,
it's by design.
And when you put those numbers together and you show the rookies when rookies go out on their patrol, usually they don't get the nice areas. They get sent to urban areas, and they're looking at the numbers that they've learned in cadet classes and all of that, and it's 60% of domestic violence cases happen in you know,
Time out.
urban areas.
Yo,
What are you
son.
looking at?
I'm
What are you
looking at
tripping, man?
I'm looking at the other program and somebody is playing Big Ching.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you put that up there at one point?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Is it like playing live right now?
I don't know what this program operates off, so I can't even tap into it to listen to it.
Jazzler.
I know it's Jazzler, but I don't know how to I don't know how to use Jazzler. So,
Yeah, me neither.
but it says Big Ching track 2. That's like off a CD I made.
Oh, I'll put it to you like this: if we put it on the hard on there,
I don't remember ever
hard
bringing it
drive,
here.
hey, shout out to Big Ching. He's on rotation at Dutchess Radio. So yeah, that's a way of making the numbers imbalanced. It also, eschewing people's view. It's all part of the propaganda machine.
Yes. And so getting into our President Trump and the Women's March and all that stuff. One of the things is like, as much of an egomaniac and as much of a misogynist as Trump may be, Trump is not the entire problem.
No.
He's part of the problem. And what I say is this to
He's a byproduct of the problem.
yeah, he's a byproduct of the problem. This is my thing. Now, all these people are unhappy. There's civil unrest over him being elected, but he was elected fair and square, according to the system at large. So when I was on the Women's March on the walkway over the Hudson, this woman had a sign, which was my favorite sign of the day. The system is guilty. And I say to that, the system that allowed Donald Trump to be elected is the problem. That is the root of the problem. The system. Because a system that allows someone with no political experience whatsoever at all, with no military experience whatsoever at all, to be elected as the president of the land, there's something wrong there. And, given that we have the illusion of democracy, but we don't really have democracy, because in democracy, Hillary Clinton would be our president right now, because she won more of the popular vote than.
But we don't live in a democracy.
I know that we have the illusion of democracy is what I'm saying. So
We're
so this is what I say.
Go ahead.
The people are ready for a female president. The system is not.
Number one, I'm gonna say this. We're not, we're sold the idea of we live in a democracy, and that's actually a new phenomena, as in maybe the 1950s or 60s, where people were trying to be convinced that America is a democracy. If you've ever done the Pledge of Allegiance, you know that we live in a republic. Secondly, it's not just yes, America is ready America could handle a female president. There are plenty of countries around the world that have female presidents and prime ministers long ago. Margaret Thatcher was prime minister of England. Angela Merkel is, chancellor of Germany. There's been, black president, African countries that had female presidents. It's not a new phenomenon.
Nah, not at all.
I'm going to say this.
The Queen of England going way back.
Well, the queen is a whole different thing. She doesn't really, she does influence policy. Let's not pretend. But we're talking just that's monarchy. Just pure politics. However,
Do you think the country is ready for a female president?
I think the country's ready for a female president. Hillary should not have been president.
I agree. I'm not a Hillary supporter.
Hillary was not about, she tried to sell us that she wanted to help people, but it was purely about her being the first female president. It was about her solidifying a place in history.
As Dr. McWilliams noted in his
lecture. It was
the
more
Democratic Party was more concerned about making history again
than helping people
and putting the right candidate
in
up
office.
on the platform.
Right.
Because Bernie Sanders would have been the right candidate to defeat the Republicans.
Right.
So if it was about winning the presidential seat,
then it should have been.
Then it should have been Sanders.
They should not have sabotaged his campaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was pure ego. It was pure ego for her. And what's crazy is we live in a country where people would rather have somebody who is like Donald Trump but honest about their their behavior than somebody who fakes the funk
like Hillary
did. And
yo, when I saw her on 105.1
with the hot sauce, she was pandering, and Charlamagne called her on it.
Of course, because
he called her on it, and she was unapologetic. He said, "There you go, pandering again," and her statement was,
"Is it working?" Because it's like, yo,
that was a Freudian slip.
Listen, man, for me, I will never forget her speech when she referred to young black men as super predators.
Mm-hmm.
Never will I forget it. And the Young Turks did a nice little piece on it because people were trying to say, nah, that's not what she said. The Young Turks dug up the video footage of it.
How about the fact that at some point she cited Margaret Sanger as one of her personal heroes? Now, Margaret Sanger was the founder of Planned Parenthood. Do you know why Margaret Sanger founded Planned Parenthood?
Nope.
To basically facilitate the sterilization and genocide of black people.
No.
Look it up.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I like Planned Parenthood. All through high school, they supplied me with free condoms. Shout out to Planned Parenthood. Thank you.
Yes, but the person who instituted Planned Parenthood,
who began it, you mean?
That was her goal. Her goal was to. Why do you think there's so many Planned Parenthood? That's why. Why do you think Planned Parenthood is usually located
in ghettos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it's way more accessible in suburban areas because and with the anonymity because they realize, hey, suburban kids mess around too. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're not here to bash Planned Parenthood or Hillary.
Right. No, but just gotta call it is what it is.
I'm gonna do some research into that because I like Planned Parenthood. I had no idea that they began in.
Listen, just because in its incipient stages, some things are insidious, doesn't mean they continue to be. Once upon a time, Coca-Cola actually had cocaine in it.
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
So things don't always start off, great or nice. Sometimes they evolve into it, but they start off with insidious intents.
So, are you aware of your man Donald signing an executive order to go back to the Dakota Pipeline project?
Yes.
So I think I tagged you in the video
because
I didn't believe it.
He is actually not only, and you know what? That's going to, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk about other news, but I only receive my news from the same sources you do, and I'm not an investigative reporter. Nobody calls me to tell me new things that's happened, so I got to find my news the same places y'all do. And of course, everything that's been in the news has been about Trump. So that's where we're going. That's where our news is going to be.
That's the main focal point of our show is Donald Trump and the presidency. We dabbled in politics and such, but let me first start by saying how disgusted I am with the media and their attention or lack thereof of the thugs, animals, and savages that ravaged Washington, D.C. on Inauguration Day and vandalized Washington, D.C. on Donald Trump's inauguration and went around beating up reporters during Donald Trump's inauguration. Yeah, I'm disgusted with the media for their lack of coverage on this.
Now, what's funny is my discuss with the media is along those lines. It's of the same topic, but it's for a different reason. My discuss is the fact that the media spent so much time and gave so much airplay to Trump and his press secretary talking about how the attendance to his inauguration was misrepresented. Who cares? You got the job. Now you're mad because the media said, "Oh, you didn't have the same turnout as Obama." Also, the fact that they talk about, his
Let's be fair though. Let's be fair now.
Okay.
Obama's first term, it was the first time a black man had ever been president of the United States.
Okay.
Yet,
Obama's first term.
Of course, it's going to be a
Time out.
ton of people.
You got not only Obama's first term was it the first time a black man was going to be, president of the United States. Yes, you're going to have a huge turnout for that because most of us realize we may never see that again in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, you got something other than George W. Bush. People tend to forget that Bush wrecked shit for 8 years.
I didn't forget because
When Obama was elected in his inauguration, it really did represent change from what just happened. Okay, Trump's administration is kind of going to be at least that's how I see it. Is instead of just having Dick Cheney, a rich dude, as vice president, you're going to have a whole cabinet of rich people. Okay, starting at the top with the president and everybody. Everybody he's appointed, except for maybe Ben Carson, are billionaires. All right, so now back to
But I have to mention the fact that where I was going with that. I discussed with the media, a bunch of white people dressed up in all black and vandalized the Capitol, broke windows, vandalized some cars, beat up reporters.
No coverage.
One woman got beat up. A woman got beat up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's disgusting in and of itself. That's disgusting. But where the fuck was the media for all this shit? Now, when the riots happened,
they were talking about his inauguration attendance.
No, they don't want to bring light to these atrocities committed by white people. Because when Baltimore happened, when the Freddie Gray shit came down, they showed that for 2 weeks.
The one skirmish, the one of the few. Okay, it wasn't the whole march and the whole protest was not all that. It was one of maybe a few skirmishes that happened. That, if you see all of the footage, was initiated by the people in that bar.
Yes.
Okay.
And the high school kids who was throwing rocks at the police.
Why'd you let high school out early?
Purposely.
You let angry kids out into the streets.
Yeah.
What do you think they're gonna do?
Cause some trouble.
Right. So let's talk about Trump's first couple days in office. All right.
Fuck you, media.
Now,
I'm sorry.
Of course, he didn't make very many direct and actual campaign promises. He never really talked specifics other than we're gonna build a wall. Gonna build it. It's gonna be built. We're gonna build a wall.
He's gonna make America great.
Yeah, he's working on that. However, he did make a promise to basically undo every executive order that Obama put in place. Now, you mentioned the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Yes.
He greenlit not only the Dakota Access Pipeline, but the Keystone XL Pipeline. And for those who don't know, the Keystone Pipeline is going to allow the flow of over like 800,000 barrels of oil from Alberta, Canada, all the way south as far as the Gulf of Mexico in Texas. Okay. Now, Texas is an oil state, and a lot of the processing and all that stuff happens down there. So that's a pipeline.
Unnecessary pipeline, sounds like to me.
It'll cut costs of transporting the barrels by train.
Why the fuck do we care about the cost when the oil companies are in the billions in profit?
The way they make it palatable to the people is if they can cut costs on the transportation, then that trickles down to the price of oil and lower gas prices. Of course, whatever.
Because oil companies, if they shrunk their profit margins a little bit, it would bring the price down of gas for the everyday consumer. You don't need fucking 40%
But
profit
you gotta
margins.
realize the average American is not an economist.
Okay.
We live in a country where people are just happy to spend and don't care how, as long as it's cheap. Why do you think Walmart, despite the fact that most of the stuff in there will kill you, is still in business? Because number one,
cheap.
most of it is cheap.
And it's a one-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop. People don't like to ask questions. Don't nobody want to hear the ugly truth. They just want a pretty lie.
Not me. Give me the ugly truth. Fuck that.
So now, of course, the Keystone Pipeline, another attractive feature of it per se, is that this is going to create 28,000 jobs.
Right.
Okay, it's going to create jobs as long as that pipeline's being built. What about the environmental factors? If that pipe, if a domestic terrorist blows that pipe midway through, now you got an oil spill in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
This is a possibility. Which brings me to the Dakota Access Pipeline that would send about 400,000 plus barrels through North, South Dakota and whatever other states, about 4 states into Illinois for processing there. Of course, cutting out, cutting current transportation costs. Now, the reason why I have an issue with the Dakota Access Pipeline, I'm not against efficiency. I don't begrudge efficiency in economics. However, the original proposed route of the Dakota Access Pipeline went through a predominantly white. I mean, it's the Dakotas, so if there's 5 black people in that state, I'd be surprised. But it was gonna go through a suburban town, and they said, no, we don't want it going through our town because of potential environmental threats that it may hold. So they rerouted it, and the proposed reroute would send them through Standing Rock, which was in the news because they were protesting it. Standing Rock is a reservation of the Sioux Nation. As a reservation, it is not under
American law.
American law. It's its own sovereign nation.
Let's just dip into that just briefly to explain to people why it's a reservation and why it's not subject to American or America's law. It's in its essence its own country because of the fucking attempted genocide that the Americans tried to do to the Indians back in the day.
Attempted genocide. Tell me when the last time you seen a Native American?
My great grandmother. God rest
Full
her soul.
Native?
God rest her soul. No, she's not full.
Okay, I'm talking full Native.
I have not ever in my life.
I've never met one.
Never in my life.
I also have met a gentleman who was half Native, half black, and you can actually see the red tone in his skin, which I can see why they called them Redskins. Not that it was a good name, but I can get it. He did have a red hue about him, but never. I don't. Not just walk down. I've actually seen midgets on the street more often than I've actually seen a Native American.
True story.
You have to literally go to a reservation. So the Sioux people were against it for the very same reasons. This could potentially contaminate our land and our water supply. This is the Missouri River they're talking about sending this through. And even the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said we need to, do more assessment before we actually approve this thing going through. There needs to be more done.
They already did some kind of research on other places that have a similar pipeline, and it has wreaked havoc on the environment.
Yeah. And I mean, I can get that, okay, it'll make things easier, but there's always the off chance of what if something goes wrong. You see,
and it's going to leak.
it's going. You know, I don't care how good you do it, but they're adamant about putting it through there. The other town that protested, they changed their mind. They said, okay, well, we won't send it through there. They give no credence and no respect to these people who don't want their sacred, not just their native land, and this is our reservation and we control it, and it's basically you're going through a foreign country. It's sacred to them religiously. No respect. None. That's my issue with the Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, aside from the Keystone XL and the Dakota Access Pipeline, let's go through some other executive orders
Please do.
President Trump has enacted already. Now, this one I actually agree with. And this is the problem with Donald Trump. No matter how you feel about stuff, there's going to be an issue that he tackles that he has a stance on that you very well may agree with. That's the danger. He signed an order to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Trans-Pacific Partnership was
that the highway they wanted to go from Canada to Mexico?
No. This was a.
Or that's still happening?
I don't know.
Okay.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership was an effort by
There you go.
about a dozen countries, including Australia, Venezuela, Peru, and a few like a couple of countries that basically made up about 40% of the worldwide exportation of goods and services, to remove tariffs and remove some non-tariff barriers to allow exporting into different countries in the Pacific Rim.
Okay.
That basically open up some markets that they don't currently have access to.
Right.
Now, what that does is allows for further removal of jobs. If America is part of this, it removes more jobs because it's cheaper labor out there. Cheaper labor, lower costs. They can basically function and export their jobs and their manufacturing to other countries, and then just bring the goods back here and sell them again. And sell them.
You agree with that?
I agree with withdrawing from it.
Oh, okay.
That's what Trump has done.
Okay, gotcha.
Trump has withdrew the U.S. from the TPP. That was one of the things I disagree with Obama about when he was like, "Yeah, let's do this." I was like, "Whoa! Think about this." No, I mean, if the whole trade organization situation with China wasn't a big red flag, no pun intended. This is the same thing, just instead of it being China sucking our money out and giving us, less than stellar goods, there's a whole bunch of countries in the Pacific Rim. So he's done that. He did what he said. He repealed the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. At least he's repealed.
So now people won't get penalized for not having health insurance.
People won't get penalized for not having health insurance, but it also there's also things about the Affordable Care Act that were appealing, such as you could not be denied coverage from a new provider because of a pre-existing condition. Think about it. Before the ACA, there were a lot of people who were stuck at jobs that they didn't want to be at, that they weren't making enough money at, but they had benefits. And if they, suppose you work for Hospital X and you go through surgery and, then you get tired of working at Hospital X, they're not paying you right, they're abusing you, or whatever the case may be, and you want to, or you just want to move to another state or another city or another job. But when you do that, you're not eligible for the benefits because when you were working over here, you got this condition. So
Right.
we're not going to cover you. So that was
not covering pre-existing conditions. Gotcha.
not covering pre-existing conditions. I don't think having, a health issue should ban you from getting health coverage. It's kind of the point. Also, one of the provisions of the Affordable Care Act was children could be on their parents' plan up to the age of 26. Now, when we were younger, being under your parents anything to the age of 26 was kind of like, come on, man, get it together. You're grown. However, times have changed, economic situations have changed, and it's not just feasible. It's likely that somebody trying to establish themselves in a career after college very well may have a difficult time of doing so. So you may need to be on your parents' insurance plan. 26 is really not that old. 26 is really not that old.
It's not. 26 is young, man.
Right. So, the removal of that. And the people who were, who basically felt negatively affected by the Affordable Care Act were people who were going to have to pay a little more or whatever to help provide for their employees. So the Affordable Care Act, to my understanding, and that's all I can go off of, was not a detriment. It was a step towards making sure everybody had coverage.
Universal health care? Bernie?
How come Canada can do it? How come Australia can do it? How come these other countries in Europe can do it? And
because they don't have $1 trillion military.
Well, that and
they're not spending billions of dollars on the war on drugs.
They also don't have $1 trillion pharmacological industry.
No.
Big pharma is a thing.
Yes, it is.
Think about it. You watch television. How many drugs do you see advertised?
Every other commercial.
And still to this day, the joke of the side effects are worse than what they're trying to treat stands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every other week, I see a new drug for the same 5 ailments. So
I got a friend who's in nursing school to be an RN, and she's going right now. I guess she's learning about drugs and what they do, and she's like, "This is ridiculous. I'm going to tell somebody they should take this drug when it's going to cause 4 more things, and then they got to get another drug." I said, "Yeah, welcome to Western medicine."
Yeah. When there's a plan out there that'll cure all of it.
And she's Jamaican, so
Oh yeah.
So she can't believe that this is happening.
This is a thing. Oh,
Yeah.
it's happening, sweetheart. And lastly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'll see something play out later that makes me go, that's why he did it. But this he's put a hiring freeze on federal government agencies. So, I'm guessing, any federal agency.
How can there be a hiring freeze on federal government agencies, but yet he's making appointments to office?
That's part of his job.
I mean, I just want to know.
I don't know.
And I invited my brother to come, but he couldn't because I told him, he's going to be talking bad about his boss.
Now, that's another thing. The only place that is still allowed to hire, as it were, is the military. Now, the military can bring new people in, but any bureaucratic agency cannot. I did read somewhere that the point of that was to minimize the size of the federal government. Well, yeah, that just minimizes the amount of people you have to control.
I don't get it. No.
Now, I do want to talk a little bit about some of his appointments. People he has chosen to be in his cabinet.
All right, can we take a song break before we get into that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I need to attempt to actually do this the correct way. Let's see if I get this thing right.
If you don't, we'll be right back.
Yeah, word. So we're gonna attempt to play "Slim Dick" by Fabulous. Let's see if that works.
Is that...
I know what I'm doing. We'll be back.
like dick. Sometime I combine and I like them slick. Them slick probably went over your head. Couldn't lay up, I just went over for head. Made her change of plans when she bent over the bed. And now she on the balcony, pinned over the ledge. Been a few days, but I sent over some bread. It can get rough with tuition and rent over your head. Not to save hoes or rescue anybody, but a nigga know what stress do to the body. And I done seen you in the best shoes, but Zanatti shit be looking like fresh shoes on Bugattis. And I don't know who invented high heels, but I swear we all on one. And if you do know that man, girl, I be like, where you know I'm from? You so slick, so small, curvy, teeth all pearly, hair all curly. Was a tomboy, now you all girly. Never look tired, but you wake up all early. Hit the gym, keep it toned up. Progress pic, hole in your phone up. Aw shit, waist getting smaller. Niggas on Instagram like, damn, I need to call her.
That body perfect in my eyes. No matter what they say, everything looking just right. You got that blessing in disguise. Who would've known? Girl, you got
them slick girls get me every time. Them slick girls could get every time. Them slick girls get me every time. Them slick girls could get every time. She like, hold up, let me throw on something light. Bitch really with it, throwing something tight. Came downstairs in a superwoman tights like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Damn, I ain't know you was holding like that. I ain't know brown skin Kelly rolling like that. Never knew you had it with your sneaky ass. She said I never seen you looking with your peeking ass. 34, 24, 36. Finally got a selfie after taking 30 pics. 36, 24, 40. D cups, caption, double cup shorty, and it's angles to the shit. Angles to the shit. Gotta hold the phone up and put the angle on the pics. And then they poke it out and put that angle on the hip. Having thirsty niggas come from every angle at the bitch, Lord. Heard when they thinner, you get deeper in her. They say when they thicker, make you come quicker.
them slick girls give me every time. Them slick girls could get every time.
That ass in the gym, squat life. Gotta show them love in the era of the shot life. This is all from my mama, this is not knife. Niggas love her shit, give a fuck about life.
That body perfect in my eyes. No matter what they say, everything looking just right. You got that blessing in disguise. Who would've known? Girl, you got
Them slick girls get me every time. Them slick girls could get every time. Them slick girls get me every time. Them slick girls could get every time.
And we're back.
Them slick girls get me every time.
So that was Fabulous with Thin Slick or Thin. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no, it's Them Slick.
Thin Slick, so that's like thick and slim at the same time.
Yeah,
Aha!
it's a
Play on words.
Yeah,
I get it.
What's about to
okay.
go on?
You about to go on some rant? I don't know.
I do that from time to time,
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
but the whole Them Slick thing threw me off.
I know.
Oh yes, Trump appointments.
Can we
Now-
can we talk about the Ben Carson appointment? Like,
We definitely gonna get to that. We can start there.
because
First of all, Ben Carson.
he would have been better off appointing one of his children as the head of HUD than Ben Carson.
Because at least they have real estate experience.
Exactly.
Ben Carson.
And real estate development experience.
Ben Carson, who said out loud, I'm not confident that I could run a federal agency, even though he ran for, he
Ran for president.
Run for president. Accepted the nomination and was approved, okay, for Secretary of HUD, Housing and Urban Development. When asked what made him
Qualified.
What made him qualified? This is how bad this hurts my brain. I can't think. What made him qualified to be the head of HUD? He said, I lived in a house. I grew up in a house. By that definition, I drive a car. Put me as the head of transportation. I lock my door at night, so I should be, head of national security. What are you talking about, son? How is that a qualification? How do you say that out loud? You are a neurosurgeon. Have you performed surgery on yourself recently? Now, here's where I would have said that makes sense. How about Surgeon General? How about you make the doctor the #1 doctor in the country? He at least he has some idea about the human body and how it works. That makes more sense.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Okay.
Me not have that.
I don't think she's been approved. I think it's on hold. But he nominated a lady by the name of Betsy DeVoe.
Is that the Christian Academy lady?
I believe so.
Yeah, she wants to defund public school.
Right. As the head of
Education.
Department of Education.
Let's get rid of all public schools.
All I'm gonna say is she just sounds like an idiot.
I don't know anything about her except that she wants to get rid of public schools.
I watched Tim Kaine and Elizabeth Warren rake her over the coals, and she just sounds stupid. She advocated guns in schools because what if there's a grizzly bear attack? Yeah, look that up.
No.
Out of her mouth.
Nah. See, I don't necessarily advocate guns in schools, like just to have them. I'm okay with a police officer on duty in schools.
I agree.
Or
a police liaison or
something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, let's hire the people who are already carrying guns. It's their job to carry guns to help out here.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if they were talking about the teachers having guns or the students having guns, but I don't think that's the place for it.
I don't think it's the place for guns, with the exception.
And I'm not anti-gun. I want y'all to know that I'm not anti-gun.
I'm not either. But
I am pro-knife.
That's another thing, man. How come we never talk? Every time somebody gets shot, they want to get rid of guns. When people get stabbed to death, nobody says anything about getting rid of knives. They actually blame the guilty party for just being crazy, or homicidal, or criminal. But when it's guns, they blame the gun.
I don't know. It's stupid to me. It's stupid to me.
I
can't even play devil's advocate on this one because it just does not make sense.
Yo, in New York City, not that long ago, there was another slasher. Dude was literally going around slashing people in the subways with a butcher knife. He didn't kill anybody, but there were all these gruesome attacks. Did not once hear anything about knife control. We need to get rid of all the knives. People should not have access to knives. You never hear that.
No, you don't.
But people should not have access to guns. And we need to get these guns off the street. You need to get these crazy motherfuckers off the street.
And that's another thing. Where is the mental health in this mental health
facilities?
They're shutting them down, but
they're shutting them down and completely displacing these people. When we don't have the whole bigger county jail thing. We don't have a criminal problem or crime problem. We have a due process problem and a mental health facility problem. We need more mental health facilities for folks who suffer from that, and we need due process. There's no way someone should sit in county jail for 8 months before going to trial. That's crazy.
That's stupid. But you know what? They get money for that body in there. That's also something I think needs to be addressed is privatized prisons and correctional corporations. That only incentivizes prosecution and recidivism and denying people parole.
What is recidivism?
Recidivism is with some basically people who go like, if I went to jail for armed robbery and I got out and I committed the same crime, or I just did something else to go back to jail, kind of the returning to jail kind of thing, you know. Now, not so much the revolving door, whereas like we letting somebody out and letting somebody else in kind of thing. But recidivism is basically the behavior of going to jail multiple times.
The repeat offenders.
Yes, very well. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
But depending on your offense, you're kind of gonna be recidivist. You know, it kind of leans into that. It's that
Especially how society deals with you after you get out.
right
Because
if you go to jail and you got a felony and you get out and you have a family and you can't find a job, I'm not condoning
let's
it.
not even start there. When you get out of jail and you have a record, it's going to be 10 times harder to find a job. You're now not eligible for certain social programs, so you can't get on your feet because you don't have access to services, to a lot of services. So it's like, yo,
And then you're still surrounded by the same element of people and conditions that,
Right.
you know.
that sent you to jail in the first place.
And like I said, suppose you have a family and you want to take care of your family, you want to provide for them, but you can't find a job. You go, all right, if I just be real careful, I'll make this run real quick and get a couple, and you get caught. But like I said, I'm not condoning, you know, criminality.
But you understand.
But I understand. Sometimes your back is against the wall.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rex Tillerson. Back to Trump appointments. Rex Tillerson, CEO for Exxon. He made him Secretary of State. Secretary of State's job is to go to other countries and form alliances and relationships.
Negotiating relations.
I don't know how, you know, running an oil company.
Global commerce.
There you go. There you go. I don't know how politically it makes you qualified, but economically it does.
You know, you're making me saddened.
Now,
You got any good news?
no, we don't. There's no
Damn.
such thing as good news. Like I said, I get my news from the same place you do. Have you seen anything? The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. That's still not good news.
Fuck. You reminded me.
There is no good news. The Falcons have a chance.
No.
Exactly.
It's hard
Exactly.
hard to win when you know the cheaters is on the other side. The Cheatriots.
There's something I want to say about the Patriots.
Please.
Number one, yes, they do cheat, and they've gotten caught. But I'm not gonna pretend other teams haven't. They just haven't gotten caught.
I was about to say they didn't get caught. So
Secondly,
moot point.
I'm curious to see how the Patriots are once Tom Brady retires and Belichick is still the head coach.
He's gonna quit too.
Because the question is, who benefits who? Is it Brady as good as he is because he's got Belichick, or is Belichick as good as he is because he has Brady?
Okay, let me
Because
first.
they are the only two constants
Let me start by saying this.
in the organization.
I hate and despise the Patriots wholeheartedly.
Once Tom Brady retires, then I can give him the respect. that he
However,
deserves.
fuck Tom Brady. All right. However, Tom Brady is a great quarterback, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Never gonna take that away from the man. He does what a quarterback's supposed to do. Well, he's a bitch too though, because like when they start losing, you know, they take him out and sit him. But when they win, they'll blow the score up like a motherfucking video game. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. Bill Belichick is a douchebag, but he's a great mind, a football mind. You can't take that away from them. They're cheating bastards and assholes, and I hate them for that. And I can't. I don't hate them. I can't stand them. Can't stand Roger Goodell. He's a bitch too. Fuck him.
No, tell him how you really feel.
Fuck Roger Goodell, softening up the fucking league, the no fun league.
It is getting soft.
Super soft. Listen, man, Yes.
You finding folks for dancing? I'm mad.
Yeah, come on. Like now,
can't
you
celebrate a good
want to
play.
talk about all this concussion protocol and you're doing all this and all that to protect the players. You're full of shit because 95% of the claims that you get from players to what do you call it when you like disability claims because they have concussions, head trauma, you deny the claim, so it ties them up in a fucking legal loophole and you just wait them out. So if you was really about protecting the players, you wouldn't be denying their fucking injury claims when they say, hey, I'm hurt, I need to get paid while I'm hurt. No, you just want to make fucking money for the league and the owners. Anyway, fuck Roger Goodell softening up the league. Every man that puts on the fucking helmet knows the risk. They know what the fuck they're signing up for. It is their choice to sign up for it or not. So stop making it a fucking like these motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. They know they risk the possibility of dismemberment and and all kinds of aches and pains, and you're gonna be fucked up. Life after the NFL is not pretty. Brian Gumbel did an amazing special on it. You should watch it. It is what got me to stop chasing my football dreams. I saw what Walter Payton went through when he retired, what Lyman went through when they retired. Like, yo, it killed any bit of a dream I had of ever pursuing football in any kind of professional capacity. Any. Because, like, nah. No, thank you. Does irreparable damage to your body. That's why some players only play for 8 years, because you can play for 8 to 10 years and your body will recover. More than 10 years, you're fucked.
That's why Roethlisberger probably gonna retire.
Well, I'm curious to see how Ray Lewis fares in the next 10 years, because he played 17 at linebacker. You hitting every fucking snap. A quarterback, you could probably be all right. A wide receiver, maybe, but like running backs, linebackers, linemen,
Collisions all day long.
all fucking day long. So those positions, life is not going to be good. I don't know. We'll see.
So yes, there's no good news.
And I still hate the Patriots.
I don't hate the Patriots. I dislike the Patriots.
I hate them.
I did anticipate.
I hate their gums.
I did know
because
that
they're Patriots.
I did know that they were gonna win against Pittsburgh.
I did
because
too.
His for the simple fact of
That they never beat that Pittsburgh has never beat them.
no,
a
not
playoff
just
game?
that, but internal discord. Once Antonio Brown posted that video,
Yeah.
I mean, when he went Facebook Live and he violated like that, there was internal discord,
True.
and you can't play as a unit, even if it's just between the coach and your star receiver. There's internal discord, and
It's
that
true.
tension
True.
is going to be a mental distraction
You telling the truth?
for everybody.
Everybody got to be on the same page, and you can't be on the same
Exactly.
page with that shit going on.
Right. So, but and last thing about Trump, because we're gonna start flipping birds before we get out of here.
All right.
One last thing about Trump and his appointments is Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions, as well as Stephen Bannon, two basically known and notarized racially insensitive individuals.
That's a good term.
Yeah. Jeff Sessions.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Jeff Sessions was denied a federal judgeship back in the 80s because his connections to the KKK. As we talked about, we learned some things at Weldon's lecture, and one of the things we learned about Jeff Sessions was that he was once, by one of his, black staff members, the staff member said, he referred to him as boy, and he once said that he was fine with the KKK until he found out they smoked pot. He denied the statement about the KKK. No, he denied the statement about calling the
him a
guy
boy.
but he never, denied the statement about I was cool with the KKK until I found out they smoked pot. That's your big problem with the KKK? Is that some of them smoke weed? Okay. So the lynching and dragging people behind their trucks and
Don't forget the burning crosses.
yeah. Which I never understood that. Like you say you're a Christian organization, which the KKK touts themselves to be Christian. What do you get from burning the cross?
Fear.
Okay. Hot wood. Okay, I get it. Whatever.
You burn a cross. All right. Just think about that. They're a fanatical Christian group. The burning cross is like you're going to hell
Oh, okay.
type of thing.
And Stephen Bannon, who now I've heard of, the website, the news website he ran, Breitbart. I have heard that name in the past, tied to some pretty ridiculous racist views, anti-Semitic as well. But
Speaking of which, did you know who Richard Spencer was?
Richard Spencer,
Yeah, he's a neo-Nazi.
the alt-right guy.
Yeah, the alt-right guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was, but
He got punched. He was one of the reporters that got punched in the face during the Trump thing.
well, he kind of had that comment.
That's fine, but he got punched in the face. He's a neo-Nazi, or claimed to be a neo-Nazi. He doesn't claim this himself, but he has the "Hail Trump." Like
yeah.
he got snuffed on camera.
Yeah. Stephen Bannon. Now, what offended me the most about Stephen Bannon was the fact that he said women who complain about being harassed on the internet should just log off and stop ruining the internet for men.
You're not serious.
That's what he said.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
No, you didn't. No.
I'm not gonna call Weldon a liar. I'm gonna give Dr. McWilliams enough credit to say that if you put it in his PowerPoint, there has to be some substance to it.
I just don't want to believe someone is that stupid.
No, I believe it. And finally, I'm just gonna say my major issue right now with our president is the way he treats his wife. He was cold.
No colder than he normally is.
But I mean, even if you're gonna at least put on airs, he really does treat her less than like a trophy. He treats her like a piece of property. He treats her as if
He's a misogynist. What do you expect?
He's just real bad. Real bad.
He's a misogynist egomaniac. What do you expect?
The memes and the videos that I saw on Facebook, because that's where I get my popular.
Oh my God, Instagram was going crazy with the Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton ready to give it all up. Yo,
lusting after Michelle Obama.
And George W. Bush too.
But this one joint.
He had that.
He was checking out Michelle's ass.
All due respect.
That's a fat ass.
To Mrs. Obama.
That's a fat ass.
It is.
She got the badonkadonk.
It is very
her booty is. Woo!
It is very respectable. And mind you, I never seen not one picture of it during the entire 8 years they were together.
I did.
But the last few days of his presidency, I seen a few pictures.
I've been watching that booty for 8 years
on Facebook.
She didn't have the fatty for 8 years.
Yeah.
One of the things I loved about the Obamas as a couple is like you could tell genuinely they were into each other.
Yes.
It was a beautiful thing to see because I don't recall seeing that with the exception of Bush Sr.
Yeah, he did seem to have some reverence for his wife.
Bush Sr. seemed to
in a very tightwad kind of way.
Tightwad, but you could tell, like, to me as a kid, it looked like Bush Sr. was really into his wife.
I mean, he named one of his oil ships the Barbara. So,
but like, not since then. Not with Bill Clinton
or we know Bill wasn't into Hillary.
Yeah, and not with George W. Is it George W?
Yeah, W.
W wasn't into. I can't.
His
remember.
Wife was more like his handler, like George. She was kind of like the man in the yellow shirt, and he was Curious George, literally. But no, I remember when Obama was giving a speech, and Michelle introduced him, and when he came up, it wasn't the traditional peck on the cheek or peck on the lips. They fist bumped, and that goes back to something that I talked about earlier, not on the show, but that friendship they have. When you and your significant other have a friendship.
They got a movie out about them.
Southside with You.
I ain't seen it. I just know I got a movie.
that was another highlight of her visit because I wanted to see that movie, but I wasn't going to watch it by myself. I wasn't going to watch it with y'all. I wanted to watch it with.
Oh, you can't watch it with us.
Shut up. I wanted specifically to watch it with my baby girl because one, it is very. Shut up. It is very much a.
I'm playing a little violin for Dre and his girl.
You need a bigger violin than that. It's very much a
Baby, baby, baby.
It is a couple movie,
Oh, my
and that's
pray for
shut up, because you're actually killing one of the songs that make me think about her. Shut up, but no.
He thanks God.
Can I finish? Can I tell my story? No.
Tell your story. I'm the sound bed. All right, go ahead.
It is very much, a couple movie. It's not a chick flick. It is definitely a date movie, but also because she's the only other person I know that appreciates that relationship.
Has he told you lately?
Actually, I just texted it to her a couple minutes ago, so shut up.
Ah.
But yeah, it was a very good movie. And I'll say this, the two actors that played it, they didn't do Barack and Michelle impersonations. They were two actors who
Embraced the character.
did their best to embody their character
during those times.
And they got their speech patterns and their cadences down. It was like if you closed your eyes, it was like you were actually on their first quote unquote date. It was a good movie though. And
Was it Notebook type-ish?
I didn't see The Notebook. It was really about one day, actually their first
That's what the movie's about.
date and date. Yep. It all takes place in
Gotta
one
be
day.
effing kidding me.
But it's good.
I'm not watching that shit.
It's good.
Fuck that.
And
One day?
one day. And mind you, I'm gonna say this.
It's off my list.
It gave me a lot of respect for Obeezy. Obama got gay. By the end of it, you go, that boy smooth. That boy smooth. That's why he was so good. He's smooth.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna watch that ever.
I wouldn't say watch it alone. I say watch it. Watch
I
it.
don't
on
care
the
about
day.
watching it alone. I watch anything alone. I watch The Notebook alone.
And on that note,
I wanted to see what the hoopla was about. This was a movie that I had some female coworkers that they was ranting. Oh my god, it's the most romantic movie ever. And all these, I knew all these women that were talking about some movie, and it was called I thought it was The Note. But then come to find out it was The Notebook. So I'm like, yo, all these women I know are so in love with this damn movie, The Notebook. I'm like, what the fuck for? I watched the movie. It is the sappiest, predictable, fucking no surprise crap.
they like that. That's their fan. That's emotional porn for women.
All right, I'm gonna tell you what it's about.
It's about a guy and a girl, and he professes to always love her, and she agrees.
No, this man and this woman. So something like
You running over. I don't want to hear about this.
yeah, I don't give a fuck. We run over anyway. Basically, she gets like Alzheimer's, and she forgets that she,
Oh,
has a husband and all that. So
you sure that's The Notebook?
yeah. So
That's
because
not The Promise.
no, this is a Notebook. I'm sure they've done multiple inversions.
Is this the one with Channing Tatum?
No, I don't think so. No,
Oh,
this
okay.
is some other white guy.
Ryan Gosling.
Maybe. Some other.
Though I've never seen it, I do know who's in it.
All right, whatever. I don't know the actors. I know his old dude. He's telling his wife these stories about this couple from back in the day, and it's them he's telling her about
Oh.
because she's forgotten everything. And then at the end, she remembers for a little while. But he repeats that he does this shit every fucking day. Comes to the nursing home where she's at, or
To
whatever.
tell her this great love story. and
Exactly.
it's done.
Yes.
You know what that is?
What?
It's not the sappiness about it and all that. It's the commitment that he's willing to keep.
Well, those are the
Coming-
fucking vows you took when you married the motherfucker.
Think about how many people don't stay committed to the. People get married at the height of the pleasure of being together. People usually agree to get married, and they usually get married while everything is great.
I read this quote that said,
they get together at the better, but how many people stick around for worse?
This quote I saw on, I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook. It said, "Men marry their girlfriends and live with their wives." Think about that. That's fucking perfect. Do you get it? All right, so when
she's your girlfriend before y'all get married.
Yes, so you marry your girlfriend, and then once you're married, like this wonderful person, y'all do all this shit, everything is great, awesome, and fantastic, and loving and romantic. The sparks are there and all this shit, and then you get married, and everything changes. So,
but it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does for the average person. So the saying and it also says, and this is to women, bring the girlfriend back every now and then to, keep your shit going.
Yeah. But that goes for the men.
I'm about to say that goes for the men too. You know what I'm saying? But
a wise woman once told me, what you get in marriage is an amplification of what you get during dating.
I don't agree with that.
But that's how it should be.
Should being the operative word.
Yeah. What often happens is you get, and this is why I was, I held such strong conviction, and truthfully, I still do, against marriage as a concept, is people will get married and then get complacent. And I don't mean complacent like, oh, you get comfortable and you just let yourself go. That can happen too. But complacent in, oh yeah, now I got them, they're not going anywhere.
Nah,
I don't have to do anything to keep them. You have to. Marriage, a relationship requires upkeep.
This is gonna sound stupid, but I look at it like this. I look at it like sport fishing.
Okay.
I know this is gonna sound real bad, but just bear with me.
I'm waiting.
Once you get on the hook and you reel it in, you throw the fish back out and then you do it all over again. And you keep on doing that mentally and philosophically. Don't get on the hook, take her, and cook her. Throw her back.
That's the same principle as you got to do what you did
to get them.
To keep me.
Yeah.
What you did to get me, you got to do to keep me.
Yes. Yeah. I believe in that. It's like, but I'm random and spontaneous. Like, I do shit for no rhyme or reason just because I fucking feel like it. I want to. I'm just that person.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another show. That's another show.
Yeah, matter of fact, let's see. We'll be coming back, and it'll be February when we get back.
Yep.
So we will try to make a show about Valentine's.
No, fuck that.
Loving.
Fuck love.
Good, bad, no, D will
love is for suckers.
D will be the anti-love voice. I will be the sucker for love voice, and VI will be whatever voice he has at that time.
We should get Ricardo up here.
We got to do a cruise show before either the end of the semester or I leave, whichever happens first.
We got to do it before the end of the semester. Fuck that.
I'm just saying, whichever happens
before
first.
the end of the semester, nigga.
So, well, I mean,
bird flips.
Bird flip. Oh, go ahead, flip your.
I'm gonna start.
Bird.
I'm flipping the bird at motherfucking VI. You punk bastard, because he gave me gas money twice today. I didn't want gas money. He had to take his car to get
He's on his business.
Listen, it's not like he had to get something done to his car. So he needed a ride back from the car place to home and then back to pick up his car. Cool, no problem. I signed up for it. I said, yeah, I got you, son. I don't want fucking gas money for that. I'm doing my boy a favor. The nigga slipped gas money. Like, he giving me the pound when he leave, and he slipped me the fucking gas money like you tipping the waiter at the restaurant. I'm like, what the fuck is... And then the nigga gets out the car, so I can't throw the money at him. It's going to be on the ground. All right, so then the second time he got me, he getting out the car and he left the money in my phone. Cause I got a case on my phone and he slid the damn money.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm flipping the bird at VI for giving me gas money. I told him I didn't want no gas money. I'm doing a favor for my boy. I don't want no damn gas money. Although I did use the first gas money to get lunch.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we call him Mr. Exception. He's mad that somebody gave him gas money. Okay, that's an invalid bird flip, so it don't count.
How dare you?
I just did.
When I don't bird flip, you have a problem. Now that I flip a bird, you.
It's not
nullify
a
my
good
flip.
bird.
Yes, it is.
Whatever happened to thank you?
I don't think I said.
See,
thank you.
that you know what, this goes back to D. You're angry. You're even angry when people do nice shit for you. Oh
I slapped you this week.
yeah. Okay. So my bird flip goes way out. Super huge bird. I want to flip a pterodactyl at
Goddamn.
Stewart Shop, number 325 especially, as well as the Dole Food Company. If anybody who hears this is a friend of mine on Facebook, you may have seen
Yep, I saw it.
the banana video.
Yep.
I purchased a banana to go with my lunch and my water while I was at work yesterday afternoon. I'm so glad that I'm the type of person that I need to see the whole banana before I eat it, because I don't like soft spots, I don't like brown spots, I don't like mushy spots on my banana, no pun intended. Upon peeling back the outer rind of said banana, I noticed a long red vein, and well, streak, not even a streak, it was a line down the side of the banana, and at the base of the banana there seemed to be a pool of red. Now, I have seen videos and I've heard of this phenomenon of people injecting HIV contaminated blood or just blood in general into fruit. Most notable, porous, fleshy fruits that will absorb, liquid. Oranges, bananas, pineapples, lemons, anything that will absorb, watermelon, something like that. I've not had it tested yet, but I will. And here's the caveat. Matter of fact, I'll talk to you about it off the air because I don't want to say it in any place that's recordable because it can be held against me. But yeah, fuck you, stewards. And I hate to say that because I loved you. You had great iced tea. I can't get your iced tea no more.
Great ice cream too.
The ice cream is awesome. No more crumbs along the mohawk for me. I have to ban you fuckers. And Dole, I loved your pineapples. Eat a dick.
Damn.
Because y'all tried to kill me.
Damn, son.
If I'd have bitten to that and I'd be HIV positive right now, I'd be mad at the motherfucker. Because I tried to eat healthy.
Damn.
See what I get for trying to eat healthy? Ain't no blood in Slim Jims.
Nah.
Fuck. So, that's it for this episode of It Is What It Is After Hours. Podcast will be up on SoundCloud expeditiously, both through Duchess Student Media Group and It Is What It Is After Hours, our own SoundCloud page.
And YouTube.
You gonna get it on YouTube? How's that working out?
I have one episode up. The Still a Mess and Big Veg episode is up there. What I need to further that is I need episodes. I don't have episodes. VI has all the episodes in there.
Oh, okay. So
in storage.
We'll just work on that.
No, but I got a deadline because I got to get 5 up on the site by Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she is gonna call you.
She can call me. I know how to do it now. I know how long it takes.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll discuss that. I gotta go get dinner. I'm hungry. So,
All right. Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night.
So yeah, tune in for our next podcast where you get your dose of real talk,
Real music.
real people. It is what it is.
Peace.